Hail to the alma mater, hail to De La Salle.
Good evening, batchmates. I'm Curly Chongson, also known as Conrad Chongson III. My co-host, Papi Lupitan, Vin Sigura, aka Blogs. My co-guest here, John Bautista, David Plaza, and Jaime Miguel Dreyfus. And of course, our guest of honor, Jerry McGuire of the Philippines, Mr. Show Me the Money! PJ Pilares.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, PJ.
Good evening, PJ.
Good evening, PJ.
Happy to be
Kumusta ka
here.
na?
Good evening,
Say hi
boss.
to
Mr.
Batchmate naman.
Scarface.
Pablo Escobar.
Escobar, Scarface.
As mentioned earlier, glad to represent the La Salle brotherhood. Again, I want to thank you, Papi, for inviting me. So let's go. Let's talk about everything that's been going on, and at the same time, like what 3D mentioned, gotta show me the money.
Welcome to our podcast naman, the Green Brotherhood, PJ. We're happy na you were here to be our guest. Yan. And let's talk about let's talk about your childhood, your Ateneo life, and then bakit ka lumipat sa
What? Ateneo life?
Oh my God.
your Ateneo life and your Green Hills life transition. Let's start with that.
To introduce, I mean, some of the guys here know pretty much what I went through, diba? Like any other Atenean who went to La Salle. Ako myself, my childhood in Ateneo has brought me to a better position, which is somewhat related to the reason why I went to La Salle. If there's one person who knows about this, it's John, because John is a childhood friend of mine. I've known him since we were 3 years old, I think, or even younger. So fast forward, from the time that I was in Ateneo, some of the classmates that I had also who went to La Salle were Ferdy, Dale de Guzman, who else? Well, Vito Arna is also
Mario.
classmates in grade school. Mario Constroller, who else? Si Miguel Tino, who unfortunately passed away when we were in first year
high school.
First year high school. Who else was there?
J. Ramos, Richie Lim.
J.R. Ramos.
Olrak, Neil Solomon.
J.R. Ramos, Philip Gisbert, Neil Solomon. Actually, ang rami namin, I think, over 30.
Over 30, one classroom.
Who went to La Salle.
But what did you decide to go to La Salle? Or...
For me, ako, looking back, I wouldn't change anything. I think the reason why I moved to La Salle was because my application to Ateneo High School wouldn't pan out the way I would want it.
That's why. Ibig sabihin nun, kayo lahat, malamang.
Possibly. So La Salle became a very good option for me. So
And I think it is a better school. I think it's a better choice in the better school also.
Yeah,
exactly.
So
looking back, when that happened, syempre, it was somewhat hard for me to accept na parang I would be going to a new school, making new friends. At that time,
Arch rivalry pa, kalaban pa. Kalaban na.
But at that time, parang I really welcomed it because I knew at some point parang it would open up more doors from a friendship standpoint. And fast forward to now, it just gave me a better sense of how Lasallans are. When it comes to friends, different classes in life. Parang they were easier to connect with. So I liked it. Dahil parang everybody welcomed me with open arms. My first year in La Salle, I was classmates with John. And we were in the same village at that time. So si John is one of my best friends. So it became smoother in transition. So parang going into La Salle, it was easy.
Madali na.
Because I knew a lot of people. Tapos the environment was good. Everybody was happy. And I was education also was good, so it helped out.
It helped out, oh. It helped out.
Oh,
Doon ba sa Ateneo, yung one section ka lang for grade 1, yun ang section mo for grades hanggang grade 7? Tama ba yun? Nagbabago rin. Same.
So,
I think high
ang
school lang
permanent-
ganun eh.
Ang permanent lang sa high school.
Permanent
High
lang
school.
sa high school. Permanent lang sa high school. Okay. Kasi baliktad pala alam ko. Okay.
But, diba, syempre,
Anong difference?
Like,
Do you know the difference?
parang sa
Or Lasal and Ateneo?
from
Mhm. Sa
big
pagkain.
difference for me, parang,
Mas masarap pa yung ulam sa amin or ano?
sa akin, maganda nga yung transition kasi ako ever since, makulit ako eh. So, yung personality ko, talagang naging shoot na shoot siya with Lasalites. So, yeah, parang I can hang out with anyone. I would never judge anybody. And at the same time, I've always loved going out, even at that early age. So parang I was always open to explore new a new background, a new setup. So it wasn't hard. And siguro the biggest challenge for me was, syempre like any other like Lasalites or Ateneans, you're loyal to your school.
Automatic.
Sports. So ako, yun yung naging shift na mahirap. Pero syempre at that age, 13 years old ka, parang everything is new for you. So yun lang yung naging hurdle for me. Pero after a full month being in Lasal, naging madali na. And kumbaga yan, parang yung first year ko sa Lasal, there was really no transition because I was with John, kaklase ko siya.
That's
Hindi
good.
kami
Yeah.
pumapasok.
Wala naman ng bully sa'yo.
Masaya. Wala eh. Ang makulit lang sa akin, pare.
But we're the same blood, green and blue. Smile.
Naging close ako sa lahat eh.
That's good.
Ang makukulit lang, putya, no first year ako, sino ba makulit? Si Gison
Batin.
yata kaklase.
Sige, son.
Si Jericho,
Si Batin,
Batin.
makulit.
Si Batin.
Yung makulit yun eh.
Any fun memories or any bad memories?
Marami.
Can you share some good memories naman?
Kasi my Lasal Green Hills life was from first year, second year, and fourth year. On our junior year, si John and I, we left for the States. We became exchange students. So we skipped the third year. So ako, 3 years lang ako sa Lasal.
3 years ka lang sa Lasal.
First, second, and fourth lang. So kami ni John, after finishing our sophomore year, we left for the States to
Exchange student.
Exchange students.
Okay.
So
Ng ano
which was
ng
crucial kasi
yung Lasal na gano'n
hindi, it was accredited by the school. But it was our families who came up with the idea. So my family and John's family are close. So I'm not sure kung who said about the program, if it was my family or John's family. Most likely John's family. So at that time, we were 15.
Tama ba yun?
So,
Tama ba yun, John?
syempre.
Tama ba yun, John? You were exchange
Oh
student?
yeah.
Mm.
Sabi kami, third year, umalis kami. Actually, I think yung parents namin yata, medyo sabi, masyado kayong mabait dito. Yung bait nyo, ikalat nyo sa Amerika.
Yan.
So,
Hindi yun ang sinabi ng magulang. I'm sure.
di ba, nagpa-party pa kami. Nagpa-party pa kami bago may umalis sa Damar. Di ba, Pete? Party pa kami. Sa village namin.
Kasi
Mm.
ang nakakatuwa yun dahil ang haba ng summer vacation namin ni John.
O kasi, yung school is September. Di ba, kakabus doon sa US.
From March of 1996 hanggang July, actually hanggang August yata, we
Yeah.
were together. Until yun nga, we left for the US, magkasama kami ni John. We were in LA. Oh, yeah.
How is
LA,
it?
tapos doon tayo naghiwalay, PJ.
Then,
How is it your
separated
life
na.
in LA? How is it? Kamusta naman yung
No, we weren't in LA. Si John left for Fresno. Ako, I left for Illinois.
Chicago.
So,
Ano yun? Parang ano yun?
near Chicago.
Jumping point lang yung LA eh. Parang LA was just a
Jumping
jumping
point.
point. So when we got to the US, we were all there together with other people from all over the country. And then from there, parang kanya-kanyang place na. So yun nga, si PJ went to Illinois, Chicago siya.
Ikaw?
He went to Jordan Country eh. Lakers fan to, di ba? So, yun. And then ako, I went to Fresno. Yun, parang ganun.
Fresno,
Tapos 1 year. Hindi kami nakita for a year. Parang ganun.
Close to a year. So, it was a good experience. Pero syempre, like anybody at that age, there was a lot of homesickness. Pero it somewhat molded us to become more independent.
Tama.
To go through, adversity at that age. It's good. Kasi it's just gonna make you stronger. So, at that time, wala pa namang email was starting to get there. MIRC chat, wala pa. So, puro collect calls kami ni Jang. So,
Sulat. I remember
Sulat.
the parents writing. Kasi
Sulat, snail mail, pare.
Snail mail.
So, kami ni John, 1996, when we got there, ang difference was we were taken in by a foster family.
Foster family, okay.
Or foster family. So, complete strangers. As in complete strangers. Fortunately for me, the family that brought me in was a really good family. Who until now, I'm very close with. So, it was a mom.
Malaking
single mom.
bagay rin ma-exchange students. No?
Malaking
I remember, you know what, how close PJ was? I even remember the family name. I didn't live there, but the Tonelli family, the Tonellis. Tama ba, PJ? Diba? Tonelli?
Mismo. Si John, yan, sa extended family ng Tonelli yan. Tumira siya doon. Noong 97, ba tayo dyan? 98. After graduating.
I think a year after or 2 years
98,
after we went back to the US, we visited the family in Chicago.
So,
wow, interesting ha. Hindi ko alam na umalis ka pala hindi ko napansin.
Solid
Pero
yan. So,
why nakabalik ka naman sa Lasal? Why you choose to go back?
Parang
to
ganun
Lasal?
lang yun eh.
pareho kami ni John. After 1 year, we went back to Lasal. Ang nakakatawa ba dyan? Pagbalik ko, pare, ako all my life in Green Hills, lagi akong F ng section ko. 1F, 2F, 4F.
F. Kasi
Originally,
PJ Pilares.
So, pagbalik namin ni John, siguro mga na kami ni John, 2 weeks delayed. Start na yung classes eh. Kakabalik pa lang namin from the States. Ang section ko lang originally, 4E yata ako eh.
Ako E eh.
Originally.
Sino advisor niyo?
Pero,
Babae.
Lanita!
Miss Lanita. Okay.
Lanita.
Si Miss Lanita. Yung kulot.
So,
kulot lang here.
Kulot, yung pag umaga, mapawis, yung pawis niya nakikita dito sa gitna.
Page!
Huwag mo pa rin kay Miss Lanita.
Magaling yan! I-edit ko yan!
So, pagdating ng Green Hills, di pumasok na ako sa 4F. After 2 days, sinabi sa akin ni Remeter, 4E daw ako. Puta, solid na ako sa 4F dahil puta marami doon. Barkada ko rin.
4E kami yun eh.
Ako
4E ka na lang.
Ang 4F noon.
Nag-champion pa kami nun eh.
Si LJ. Vito.
Si LJ. Kami nila LJ.
Vito.
So,
4F yun.
kami nila Vito, nila...
Payopi.
Yan. Sila nila Chris. Si Gino from Stoller. So after I think 1 week, pinapalipat niya ako ng 4E. Pero parang nag-deliberate ako. I told him na parang, 1 week in, I've already adjusted with my classmates. Baka naman it's possible for me to stay with 4F. And fortunately, he granted it. And then I stayed na with 4F. Naging steady na yung 4th year ko kasi all throughout naman my Lasal life, I've never really had problems with academics. Lagi lang sabat. Pero
okay naman.
enjoy naman eh.
School buko naman yan.
Puta. Nung 4th year kami yan, kami nila Andoni, kaklase ko si Andoni, ang mga club teachers namin si Coreb, si Rosales, si Antonil ba? 4th year.
Wala, second year Antonil.
Second year yun.
Second year pala, second year. Si Rosales sa science lab trip yun.
Maliit.
Maliit. Okay.
So, yun. And then, fast forward to...
College. Saan ka na college, pare?
I went to CSB.
CS, sabay pala tayo. CSB rin pala.
Kami nila, yan. sila Arevalo kasama ko, si Choco.
Si Choco.
Ano kami,
Choco.
B1Q.
Wala ka na
Kami,
thirds.
export management.
Export
So,
management.
yun,
IEM, yeah.
from the time I joined Binild until I finished in 2002.
On time?
Yeah, that was my college life. And then, ano ako, delayed ako 2 times.
Ulit 2 times. Okay.
So,
Iba, yung
after
ano,
that,
yung CSB, parang extension rin ng Green Hills, no?
sobra pare. Actually, looking back, ang Binild, kumbaga, yeah, very similar, diba? Same environment.
Trimestral, same yung, ano.
Yeah, in terms of academic, syempre, I mean, if given another chance, diba, I would have preferred to be, you know, in a different setup. But at the same time, it helped me, you know, fulfill who I wanted to become. So okay lang.
Anong first job mo after college? You have, ano?
So after college, my first original job, kasi I wasn't like everybody else, diba, we've always wanted to be involved with basketball. Pero syempre, diba, like ako, like all of you, si Vince, he played for the UAAP senior team of UP. I've always played in grade school, in high school, and I was supposed to be part of the team kay Baina. Pero overage ako, puta. Kampi ko sila Bainyo. Pero overage ako so hindi ako na-line up. Puta. And then, syempre, like kami nila dyan, at a young age, ang balasan namin uminom, may Biso, Yossi. So, parang when it comes to, you know, preparing for training, laging nahuhuli. Laging nagiging secondary yung basketball.
Nag-team ka sa Ateneo?
Oo nga, nag-team ka ba
Yes,
sa
I played
Ateneo?
for Paya Midgets.
Okay, so teammate mo sila Ferdy nun din.
Nakalaban mo. Ibig sabihin nun, na-teammate mo sila.
Nag-SDP rin ako.
Bakit hilig mo sa mukha nun eh?
Okay. Nakalaban mo rin yung mga Lasal, Matik. Yan, sila familiar names rin. Sila Pintor, sila
Actually,
Thirdy.
si
Daryl.
sila Choi, nakalaban sila. Daryl, nakalaban ko pa.
Familiar.
So, from that time, syempre, like everyone else, lahat naman tayo, parang I wanted to be connected with basketball. Pero syempre, it's easier said than done. Dahil everybody wants to be part of basketball. But diba, is it gonna make dollars and cents at some point? So ako, I was fortunate enough dahil kapatid ko was already into basketball. So my brother.
Ano yun? Ano yung kapatid mo? What sport? What ano?
He was already coaching
broadcast,
basketball.
Coaching.
So he was coaching at that time in the NBA as an assistant coach. So exposed na siya. So ako, and then syempre, wala pa naman akong ginagawa Saka at the time, labas na ako ng labas. And I had really no plans of working corporate. So he accepted the job in Ateneo High School para maging coach ng Paya Juniors. When he became head coach for the Paya Juniors, he asked me if I wanted to become an assistant. So I said, sure. Yes, I was 20, 21, 22 years old. Sabi ko, sige.
Pero wala kang background of coaching. Parang sige, sabok na lang.
Wala akong background of coaching. I just love the game, just like everybody else. So it gave me a bigger picture of how the game is. Parang not just as a participant, but as someone who analyzes the game. So I started scouting.
Ilang years to, PJ? Ilang years ka nag-assistant coach? Really?
5 years.
Never.
Di ko alam yun. Di ko rin alam yun. Assistant ka.
Big part of what
progress.
How my progress to how things are now. But at the same time, syempre, when it comes to high school coaching, it doesn't help you financially.
Yes.
So
it's a noble profession.
So from there,
yun yung,
after coaching, nag-transition ka na to corporate.
When I was doing it from 2001 to 2003, my mom, parang she never really looked at it as something formal kasi wala akong pera
So long term.
Diba? I was parang syempre ang pressure sa akin ng mom ko was parang syempre like lahat naman tayo, lahat ng parents natin, it's unfortunate, but they compare us to
Friends. Oh, to
other,
their
Yeah.
other kids, diba, at the same age.
to their peers
So,
talaga.
so for her, parang, diba, at that age, parang how is basketball gonna help you? Parang I wanna see you, with a 9 to 5 job, something that will put food on the table.
Yes.
So, syempre, ako at the time, tsaka syempre nakikita niya, umuwi ako ng alas 4 ng madaling araw. Gigising ako ng alas 12 para kumain, tapos aalis ako for coaching ng 2. So parang syempre, kahit ako rin naman, looking
Basketball ba
back,
yun?
parang
2 o'clock ng umaga,
walang
basketball
direction.
ba?
Kasi ang practice namin after school ng Ateneo.
Sino na hawakan mo player pitch?
At sila Frank Golia,
Mm.
nag-UA seniors.
Oh, UA seniors. Yung mga sikat. Mga galing
Jai Reyes.
grassroots. Jai Reyes.
Jai
Okay.
Reyes.
Ang sama ng
So,
pagkasabi,
unfortunate.
nakahawakan mong player eh. Ano lang, inalagaan.
Inalagaan. Sorry.
Parang ano eh.
Pag-ayon.
Kinoach na lang. Yung inalagaan, medyo pangit rin yung dating.
Kinuch.
Parang ganun eh.
Kinoch.
Anyway, so from at that time, so sabi ko, parang syempre, I wanted to do something for my parents, parang just to make them feel content. So my first professional job was life insurance in 2002 while I was doing coaching. So a friend of mine approached me. He said, "Pete, may plano ka na ba?" Sabi ko, wala pa eh. Sabi niya, do you want to become a life planner? Sabi ko, what's that? Di kinausap na ako. Tapos they took me in. So I became a life planner for Sony Life Insurance. So 2002. So I started selling insurance. I started selling policies. So medyo it was a big wake up call kasi when I would approach clients, mga titos, mga kaibigan ng airpods ko, which is sasabihin sa akin, sayang ka naman, nag-aral ka pa sa Ateneo Lasal, tapos magiging insurance ka lang. So, syempre, medyo frustrating, pero normal yun eh. So, I did that for over 2 years while coaching. So, kumbaga, nagkaroon ako ng konting stable. I liked it kasi it was my first introduction to sales.
Real job.
It was my first introduction to sales. And I liked it kasi parang ever since I wanted to be involved with sales. Kasi, with my personality, I like talking to people. I like, presenting.
Tama.
So,
Presenting.
after that, I was home. I wasn't doing life insurance anymore. I was going through classified ads. Jario pare. And then I saw this brand, which I'm familiar with, Thorlo socks.
Ano yun?
Thorlo socks. So I saw this brand, no? So
Thorlo
socks
socks.
is a very high, THORLO. So it's very high end. So I saw it. They were bringing it here. So there was a distributor in the Philippines.
Kasi alam mo sa Amerika, alam mo na yun. Familiar ka sa name.
So yes. So classified ads, they were looking for a brand manager. This was in 2003. So, nagpunta ako, it's in Pasig, Elson's Enterprises. I went to the office. I applied. So, from life insurance, I applied to become a brand at the age of 23. Yeah.
Wow, maaga ba?
I got the job. So
Wow.
I got the job. So, I was
Congrats.
reporting to an Indian boss. So, he took me in. Tapos he gave me liberty. It gave me exposure kasi this was my first
Real job.
introduction to sports retail.
Sports retail.
So I was meeting retailers like Toby's, SM. So it gave me a lot of exposure. And then syempre it helped kasi in my resume, all of a sudden, nagkaroon ako ng managerial position. Diba? So, nagkaroon ako ng managerial roles. So, okay. Tapos, 1 year into the job, a friend of mine who was working with Nike told me na, Teach, may opening sa Nike Philippines. So, when he told me about it, sabi ko, pucha, syempre, diba? So, from that time, na I was with Thorlo Socks as a as an
There
employee,
were no stocks.
it paved the way. Dahil nga, it was my first introduction with sports retail. So, when they informed me about the
Para kay
opening,
PJ to ah.
syempre,
PJ.
it wasn't a
Hello?
problem dahil I was interested, diba? So I applied for the job. Tapos
Ando na si
after,
Tony? Ando na si Tony? Nauna sa'yo? Or
wala
nauna ka?
pa. Nauna
Ah,
ako kay
nauna ka
Tony.
pa kay Tony. Nauna ka talaga
Ano
kay
na ka
Tony.
pala kay Tony?
Nauna ka kay Tony.
Wala yun.
Okay.
Kasi at that time, when I was with Thor Lusak, si Tony nasa End 1. Yes,
And one siya.
So when I applied, the first time I applied, I didn't get the job. Someone got the job
Your
before me.
position.
So, putya, nawalan ako ng gana kasi kala ko it was my time to be part of Nike. But fortunately for me, after 1 month, the guy that they hired resigned. So they called me back and they told me about the opening. So I said, sige, diba? So I applied again,
Ikaw pala yung pang number 2.
number 2. So I finally got the job. So it was good, pero it became more serious kasi it was my first, technically, my multinational exposure. Kasi, diba, with life insurance, it's more of your own business. With Thorlo, it's a small business. With this one, it's a global, it's a global company. So it was really, overwhelming at start. In the start, it was overwhelming because I was dealing with so many other people. I was
Exposed.
handling the whole
Ano age mo
country.
dito, pre? Ano age mo?
25.
25 pa.
25. So,
Oh.
syempre, this is when I realized na, more than anything, more than the education, what would really matter is, the connections that you have.
Through time.
It comes when it comes to, business transactions. So, fortunately, diba, even at a young age, I was already, exposed, and I was already talking to people higher than me.
Nadadala mo yung
that
sarili mo,
level.
pre, no? Nadadala mo yung sarili mo.
Which was good kasi, ako naman growing up, I had friends older than me. So it somewhat molded me for that stage in the business side of things. So I joined Nike in 2005. I was part of the sales team. Really did well. Marami ring challenges, but I was able to overcome it.
Anong trabaho mo doon? Brand manager rin?
I was country sales executive
Country sales executive.
for the products. So from there, I think after 6 months, that's when Tony joined. Tony Ataide. He joined as part of the marketing team. The thing kasi with Nike, that people don't know, Nike kasi is a very lean company. So kami, myself, Tony, and the others, we're less than 25 employees for the whole company. So it's good and bad.
Si Nieva, nag-Nike rin nag-abot kayo?
Yes, si Joe, pumasok siya as a retail,
display.
Visual merchandiser.
Visual merchandising, tama.
Pero pagpasok mo, PJ, sa Nike, did you expect yung perks for working for Nike? Like, were you expecting na may free na stuff?
Of course. I did because I already knew people who were there before. So
you get a lot of things.
Nike Philippines, no?
Already,
Nike Philippines.
So I already knew what to expect. The freebies, the perks, the discounts, the travel. So it was good as advertised.
Sinong kinamaya mo na basketball player na NBA?
At the time, marami kasi my first trip to Oregon, which is the headquarters, we had the sales summit So the whole world for Nike employees. So that was the farewell night for the founder, Phil Knight.
Mm.
So everyone was there, from Michael Jordan to Kobe Bryant,
Ah, nakita mo? Live?
Andre Agassi, Pete
Wow.
Sampras. They were there right in front of us.
Nice, nice.
Pero kasi,
Nice.
there kasi, they wanted to treat employees like, they wanted to treat athletes like employees. Kailangan hindi ka ma-starstruck. So,
Pero-
parang,
Pero
Okay,
basta
so
starstruck
taking-
ka talaga.
oo, pare, iba yung ore. So,
Yeah.
syempre, you just have to act
Anong year?
professionally.
Anong year yan?
Pero, 2005.
Ah, andyan si Kobe.
Hmm.
Doon na.
Oh, nag-champion
So,
na
ayan,
siya
tsaka-
nun.
Champion na siya nun.
Ako, at during this time, sobra akong, like Pogs would know, sobra akong into sports. So, from each sporting category, from each sport, I knew who was there. Parang kunwari, from football, andun si Cristiano Ronaldo, andun si Ronaldinho. So, putya, starstruck rin. Doon pa lang, starstruck na ako. And then followed by, for example,
All sport, pare.
Would
Golf,
follow,
Tiger Woods.
lahat.
Ganyan, pare.
and then from golf, Tiger Woods was there. From tennis, Pete Sampras, Andre Agassi. And then from track, si Jackie Joyner. Here's
Oh.
yun doon. Medyo generation natin yun eh. So, okay, talagang overwhelming in a good way. Tapos, syempre, it was the time for me. I had a better feeling of what I wanted to do. Kasi I was exposed
Tapos,
to that.
yeah. Then, di ba yung year na like 2003 to 2005 was the year of Pacquiao joining Nike?
No. Now joined in 2006.
Ah, andun ka.
Manny.
Doon ka.
Yes. Si Tony was the one who closed that.
Wow. Siya yung first Filipino
Ito.
Nike athlete.
Yes.
Wow.
Global.
Global. Tama. Ang global nga. Siya yung first
Do you need
Filipino.
to like, parang siya yung nilapitan or tinry nung camp ni Manny to offer him?
No, at that time, for the longest time, I was with No Fear.
Oh,
Okay.
no fear.
So Nike approached Manny
Ah, okay.
through the dad of Payopi,
Ah,
si Eric.
Okay.
Eric
Bakit?
Pineda.
Okay.
Then, so then they started talking, and then after a few months of negotiation, it happened. So yeah, so that's when things turned out to be very good for man.
Doon na nagsimula, di ba?
So that's how it started for him with Nike. So
Wow.
yeah, that's what happened from that time all the way to I was with Nike from 2005 to 2010.
2005, 2010. 5 years, pare. Tama ba?
Yes.
Tama ba yung math ko?
Tapos, what decided for you to leave Nike? You
What
got
happened
another
was,
job, better offer? Or?
No, actually, what happened was in 2009, we had a reorg.
Ah, okay.
Southeast Asia. So I left. I had an offer in Nike Indonesia.
Yeah.
So I left for Nike Indonesia, and then when I was there, at the time I was already engaged.
Yeah.
So I was thinking of leaving Nike and starting something new in the Philippines, because at that time I already bought property. Tapos I felt na
Nakapag-ipon ka na.
yes, it would be best for me, because at that time my wife was also with Nike. It would be best for me to.
You meet your wife at Nike?
I met her there. So at the time, I was in Nike Indonesia. She was with Nike Philippines. So
Okay.
it made me think na baka, it might be good for us to be in separate industries or separate companies, just to make things look more ideal, diba, for both of us. So I resigned in Nike. I left Nike Indonesia, went back to the Philippines, I had a job offer from New Balance. New Balance. So,
New Balance, ito yung sa PBA, di ba? Na brand na
New
jersey.
Balance. Ano yun? Local yun. Yun yung
Local. World Balance pala yun.
New
World Balance pala. Sorry.
Balance.
Sorry. Di ko lang. Same, sir. New Balance pala.
I had an offer with and it was being handled by Planet Sports. So they wanted me to come in as a country sales manager for New Balance and K-Swiss. So I took the job. It was perfect timing kasi ang ganda ng transition. I was leaving Nike Indonesia. I still wanted to be in the sports industry. So this was in 2010. So I got the job as country sales. I enjoyed it because all of the learnings that I had from Nike, I brought it there. So parang new energy.
Maganda na resume mo kasi galing ka Nike.
Oh, and at the same time, syempre Nike, and it's true. Parang it builds it gives you so much confidence since they're the leaders in terms of paving the way and setting all the milestones for sports brands. So at that time, good timing, and I like New Balance as a brand. I like what they were doing. So maganda. And at the same time, in Planet Sports, retailer yun. So they know who I was. And kahit paano, they know what I could bring in to the company. So I joined in 2010. And so that was good kasi I had a bigger team, pero syempre less experience yung mga tao. But at the same time, I had more decision-making power since it was a local company. So from that time, when I was there, I was already thinking of other moves because I wanted to do, parang I felt that I wasn't going to grow as much since I was already, the country head. At the time, I felt ng bata ko pa. I was only 30. So parang I wanted to have a mentor. I wanted to be part of, a group where I could learn more. So that's when Titan happened. So myself, together with ex-Nike employees,
brand.
They came up. They were the first. They were the first ones to think of it, and they brought me in. So we wanted to come up with a basketball concept store that would, really set the trend for the culture of basketball here in the Philippines. So then we added a barber shop to make it more, family oriented, and at the same time, the back of your head, you know that these are people who know the game. So like what I always say, it's always born from our love for the game. I wanted to be part of something bigger. So we started Titan. At that time, I left the Planet Sports. I took on the role as sales director for our publications, which is Slam Magazine. So we brought in Slam Magazine. So that was
Slam.
already big in the US, and we felt na parang we always say the Philippines is a basketball country, but we've never had an all year round magazine for basketball. So we brought it in. I was the one dealing with it. It was my first introduction to publications. Wala kasi ako publications back then. So it was good.
Through the years na you gain knowledge, di ba? Natututo ka through the years na
media. So it was media. So I was dealing with them on a day-to-day basis, and eventually it was good because it opened up more doors. I knew more of the people in basketball in the Philippines. And at that time, which I didn't mention earlier, I've always wanted to become part of the game. And one way that I could be part of it is to become a sports agent. So when I joined Titan, I said, okay, I'll take care of the publications part, but I want to create a sports agency.
Under
Kasi I feel
Titan.
na parang under Titan.
Mhm.
Because I wanted to head it because I felt na parang yes, the Philippines, diba, we're very devoted when it comes to basketball, but I feel like there's just so much lack, there's just so much gap when it comes to sports management or at the same time educating players. Parang lagi dito, sanay tayo, laging putya, laging alaga, laging spunky. Alam ni Bogs yan, yung mga spunky. Diba? So parang I wanted to professionalize it.
Mm.
But diba, I knew it would be hard. But I knew I had the time since I had Titan with me. So
Yung-
I had an idea on how to do it.
Ano yun, Bogs?
Yung structure ng sports agency nyo is different from different management. Because sobrang tagal na, daming managers dyan, di ba?
Not necessarily. We're different because kami we're focused on with player development. Kasi dito it's more of I come in, alagaan kita, I'll take care of you, I'll give you money. But there was really nothing formal.
Only
Sa
basketball.
Titan.
Only basketball lang, pre? Or any other sport?
For now, yeah. So far, it's only basketball.
Okay.
Because I wanted to focus on basketball alone.
Yeah,
For now.
I remember PJ was telling me before na parang the difference between him and other sports agents, like before lahat sila, it's all about the money. But siya, they're really developing players to be better talaga in their craft.
Better person
Training
din.
them. Training not only in the skills development, but then also personal, and money,
Correct.
managing money and all these things. So, parang it's like parang NBA, talagang it's a full-on parang management talaga of a player and their finances and their future talaga. Parang ganun di ba, Peach?
Yes, correct. So, for me, ako, I wanted to take a backseat initially, even if I knew na parang like what John said, the money wouldn't immediately be there. But since I had Titan, I already knew na, it would take time and eventually, which is happening now, fortunately, we would be able to get the big players. Because syempre at the end of the day, kahit ka professional, if you don't have the marquee players, it doesn't make sense.
Was it
Kasi
hard
syempre,
Yeah. Was it hard back
For
then
me-
to get players? Like,
for me, alam mo, surprisingly, it wasn't as hard as I would think it would be. Because may
Because you have-
exposure na ako eh.
yeah.
They knew who I was eh. Kumbaga, all of the athletes in the PBA, locally,
Knew
they knew who I was. Kasi,
Wow.
laking bagay
Laking
ng
bagay
Nike,
nun,
parang they knew na. So,
Uy, Nike
kilala
to.
na nila ako eh.
Galing Nike to.
Oo.
Magandang sa'yo.
So,
Nakakasama ka Nike.
Pero more than that, kasi when we started, to John's point, when I started, I wanted to focus on player development. So when they would see me, I would always tell them na it doesn't end with contract negotiations. So ako personally, when we started, I wanted to focus on players who weren't really being recognized. Because I wanted them to see na this is what I can do to you, even if you're not a marquee player. And that happened. So for example, now kasi malaki na eh. Like I have 25 players now in our stable. It's so different. Diba? When I was starting in 2016 with sports management, was really, parang I was talking to college players to see diba, if they wanted to be part of the Titan management group. So now when it's different, they're the ones approaching us kasi nga they've seen naman what we could do. And to John's point, what I wanted to do from the get-go was to do what's being done overseas, what's being done in Europe, what's being done in the States. So we just really leveled it up to make sure it becomes solid. So that's what happened when we got CJ Perez, when we got sila Abu
Big names.
Dhabi, big names, si Dwight Ramos, Isaac Go, Who else? And sila Tyler Tio from Ateneo, Gian Mamuyak, yan, Calvin Aftana, Jamie Alonso from
Jamie
Lasal.
Alonso.
So, laki na, diba?
Laki
So,
na, pare.
it became good, and especially ako, when I got into it, and in anything naman, I wanted to really, study and perfect it. So, in 2019, since I was already an agent, I wanted to professionalize it. So I applied for a FIBA license, which is normally done in Sweden, but I took this one in Singapore. So my head office in FIBA. So I became a
Nice.
FIBA license.
I have a question.
FIBA license. Go,
Peach,
go, go.
Who's
go
your,
Peach.
who's your most successful, you would say na so far, in a player standpoint, probably, and career wise and all, who's the most successful player that you handle?
So
Right
far,
now.
it's CJ Perez.
Because as a star player.
Number one pick.
Kasi siya pa lang yung pinakamaraming achievements. Kasi si Dwight, wala pa naman siya. Sila
Dwight now
Abu,
is
wala.
playing, diba? Dwight's playing in Japan,
Japan.
right? Diba?
So, yun, connected to that. So, yung kinikwento ko kanina, when I applied, I took a test kasi you need to be a lawyer for you to become a FIBA licensed agent. So, ako, since hindi naman ako lawyer, I took the test. There was a written exam that I took two years ago. 2 years ago, yeah. Fortunately, I passed it. Ano yan, pare, that was my first written exam in 20 years. Puta, kaya before the exam, sobrang kabado. Kasi I had to fly to Singapore. I took the test. I had to study for mga 3 months. Kapal ng box. So there was an
Just
oral
what? Ano
exam
yung
and a
mga,
written
ano
exam.
mga tinatanong dun sa test ng FIBA?
Mahirap kasi mga ano yan FIBA transactions from country to country, mga contracts. So puro ano,
More of business side.
puro legal terms.
Legal
Puro
terms.
yeah.
So
Contract
so
terms.
ano rin, medyo
Kaya kailangan mo
tricky.
kailangan mo
Kasi-
talaga lawyer background.
So buti na lang yan nga.
Nangopya ka.
Buti lang
Hindi ka
natin.
nangopya.
Hindi ka nangopya?
Pwede magaling dumiskarte. Pag nasa lista, dumiskarte.
Nasa lista.
Pag
So
Alam,
multiple choice eh.
alam na.
Multiple choice. Pag hindi A, B, C, D, yung E, all the above. Ang sagot.
So when I took the test, I was with 1 Japanese, 1 Australian, and 1 Austrian.
Ikaw lang yung Asian.
Singapore.
Sa
Ako
mga
rin Pinoy. So when that happened, I was the only, at the time, I don't know until now, I was the only Filipino FIBA licensed agent in
Wow.
the Philippines.
na yung magiging ano.
So,
Ikaw na yung
so
paved
yes,
the
alam
way.
ni Bogs yan, kinikwento. Bago pa yata ako mag-test, kinikwento ko sa kanya. So I wanted to do that because even before, Pops, I wanted to represent international players.
International
Which is
players,
good.
which is good.
Kasi the PBA is okay, but I wanted to,
Level up.
break the mold and talagang make it in the sports agency world. Kasi if you manage players here in the Philippines, it's gonna make you, okay financially, but it's not gonna
Make
go
a
through the
mark.
roof.
Oh.
So when I did that, kumbaga I wanted to be one step ahead. So even before the leagues, like in Japan B League, before they implemented yung Asian rule, I already had a license. So with that, I'm the only Filipino agent who can negotiate for players overseas. So that happened.
Yung mga player ngayon sa Japan, daan lahat sa'yo.
Not all.
Yung
So,
specific players lang.
yung iba kasi, sila 3D, they have an American agent, or I think, if not American, Australian. So ako, since I
Hindi
manage
local ang
players
management nila.
Hindi. Ako, si Dwight lang tsaka si K-Mark ang may
K-Mark,
management
Bismarck.
na local.
Oh, si Bismarck.
Hindi, si K-Mark, Carino.
Carino.
So, sa akin, when I took the test, I knew na parang at some point magagamit ko na ito. Unfortunately nga, may pandemic, so medyo na-delay. Pero, syempre, sa akin naman, whoever you handle, if they can play, if they can perform at the highest level, it's gonna make your job easier. So, nitong huling FIBA Asia qualifier, when Dwight played against Korea, they saw what he can do. And true enough, magaling talaga si Dwight Ramos. So that's when I started talking to, boy clubs in Japan.
Pro na siya, no? Pro na siya.
Pro na siya.
He can play in Ateneo na.
No more. Sabi ko nga, ginamit ko na yung pagiging lasalista ko. Huwag ka na maglaro sa Ateneo. Nag-pro ka na.
Pero PJ, like si Dwight,
Hindi lang percent
scouts,
Ateneo
like,
Lasal
tumawag
ka.
sa'yo.
Honestly. But
Sorry?
okay lang naman kung more on Ateneo.
Again.
Anong tanong?
Ano thirds? Again, thirds.
Ano?
Another percentage. Another
Assess
percentage.
yourself. In terms of green blood and blue blood, of course, may Ateneo blood ka. Green blood. Okay lang kung sa Ateneo. Pare, asaran lang tayo. At the end of the day, we're still friends. Diba? Ganun lang naman yan eh.
Ano yung question?
Anong question, thirds?
Nakamute ka, Ted.
Nakamute ka, thirds. Anong question mo?
So, in terms of your blood,
Ano percentage daw,
ng
TJ?
green tsaka blue.
Ano percentage?
Usapan
Ano ba?
lasing.
Ano mas type mo?
Usapan
Green
lasing.
blooded or blue blooded?
Usapan lasing.
Hindi ko naman mo offend.
Totoo,
We're not
honest
to get offended, bro.
Hindi, pare.
I love
Ito
you.
honest answer. Hindi, tsaka ito si Trins, mahal ko to. Ako pare, loyalty ko is with Lasal.
Ano?
With Lasal, thirds.
Personality mo pang lasal.
Personality mo pang Lasal.
Actually, yeah.
Oo naman, pare. That's saka ako, parang I've never really
Okay, we love the Ateneo. Asaran na yan.
Oh, I never chose sides.
Oh no.
Kumbaga,
Wag na lang for the benefit of two sides para wala kakakampihan kasi
Tsaka ang gwapo ni Dwight
At saka-
Ramos. No? Gwapo
pogi
eh.
ka. Saka mabait yan, pare.
Nakakabading eh. Tangin, gwapong puto.
Wala, mas
Thirds.
pogi pa rin sa Mas pogi pa rin sa
yung si Dwight yung nag-recruit Ateneo.
Yes.
Talaga, and then nabuyo mo lang.
So,
mag-Japan ka na lang.
Pagdating niya
Galing
dito,
eh, no? Ayop.
husay.
Nakakabakla.
pagdating niya dito, si Dwight, pagdating niya dito, he wanted to look for a management, a perfect timing since at that time, 2019, I was already handling Adrian Wong, Tyler Tio, Cian Mamuya,
Ano yung kapatid niya?
Isaac Go, si Eli, sabi niya.
Stay with
So,
Ateneo pa. Kasi ano pa?
Stay with the Caneo, mas bata yan.
Mm.
So, when Dwight arrived, sabi sa akin ng mga players ko, sabi nila sa akin na, boss, Dwight wants to talk to you. Sabi ko,
Wow.
sure. Alam ko
Decision
na.
niya na. Decision
Sabi
na.
ko,
Yun na yun.
Sabi ko, talent to. Ang maganda dito, this is the thing that I was telling you guys about. Formal kami. So when I had them in the office, pagpasok niya ng office, nagulat siya kasi we're all about basketball. Nakita niya yung Kobe mural, yung office.
Wow. Ano na siya?
Again,
Ano na
he
siya?
went to the office.
Mm.
Medyo he knew it was serious. So I talked to him like what I always do with other players. I told him that this could be my roadmap for you. This is what I can do. Makita niya na may FIBA license ako. So never na siya nag-hesitate. Parang hindi na siya nag-isip ng iba pang management. Dumiretso na siya sa akin. So after, I think before mga 2019, mga sometime around October, November, pumirma na sila sa akin. Sila ng kapatid niya. So good. And then, everything happened. And the good thing kasi, like what I was telling you guys about, example, the other agents, they do a good job too. Pero it's more of they're only present during contract negotiations. Ako, I make it a point that we're there every step of the way. So, I'll give you an example. Abu Tratter, when I got him, parang nasa Lasal siya, pucha, as in, hilaw na hilaw si Abu.
Sobra.
So, di ba? Sobrang hilaw na parang kasi he was playing behind Den Embala.
Embala.
So,
kulang. Under,
hirap siya. Parang, his b-ball IQ wasn't high. He wasn't being utilized. So when I got him, talagang I had a one-on-one talk with him. I had to make him understand that for you to be able to make it to the next level, which is the PBA, you need to listen. You need to understand what I want you to do. So he's one classic person, pare, na he followed everything that I did. And look at where he is now. Ang layo na
Oh,
narating
lakas
niya.
niya, lakas niya. Maganda na yung
Sobra.
playing time niya, hard work. Ano no?
Tsaka parang the shots that he would take and the way that he would attack the ring, ibang-iba.
Maganda, magaling,
So,
galing.
Same thing na parang ako, parang it's a testament to the job that I do. Na talagang I've changed their lives, I've changed their career. So, yun, going back to Dwight and si Kmart, since I have the FIBA license, I'm the one talking to the teams in Japan. So, ang maganda, since they make in dollars, from an agent standpoint, the benefits are better. Kasi syempre here,
Dollar, pare.
pesos eh.
Pesos,
US
pare.
dollars sila eh.
US and
Players
dollars.
in Japan, they make those
Rookie ano. Pero registered as
rookie
sila
salary dyan.
registered
Imports,
sila
Asian
as
imports.
import o Asian. 1 year term lang.
Asian imports.
Renew lang na renew.
They could have a longer contract. So pwedeng may multi-year, pwedeng may 2-3 years. But
May catch.
the thing kasi like with Dwight and Kmart, I want them to introduce themselves the right way. Para here's hoping na after the first year, they do well. Their contracts for the following year will be better. So that's been the what I was sharing, yung the roadmap of my short career life.
Wow, very
But
interesting
more than
roadmap,
anything,
pare. Oh. Marami kang
syempre,
kinamay na tao.
Pero Pidge,
more than anything,
as a international FIBA licensee ka na, as an agent, now Japan is open. What's next for you guys? What are you guys
for
targeting?
me,
Euro?
I'm targeting Europe, and syempre, I know it can happen, but it's not gonna take, it's gonna take longer than usual. I really want to have, at least 1 or 2 players in the NBA in the next 2 to 3 years.
But
So
do you
that will
think
change
may players ba tayo currently na do you think that's the potential to be a Euro league?
Honestly, now, none. Honestly, now, none. But kasi ako, I don't want to just continuously manage Filipino players. I want to manage, players in the US, Americans, Europeans. Diba, remember I was telling you before, folks, na I wanted to manage Ange Kwame.
Yeah. You told
Pero
me.
kasi, since he decided to stay in the Philippines to play for the national team.
So yun na yung gusto niyang gawin for now.
Well, parang ganon kasi na-trap siya eh. Which for me is not good kasi you're limiting your exposure eh.
Yeah.
And syempre, with the game of basketball, every year that you lose is,
Pero unless for
it's a big loss.
Pero he's playing for
Gusto mo na
Gilas
MMA MMA fighter baka mayroon ako maano sa'yo. O boxers. Marami akong
Pero may exposure
MMA
naman siya for international competition eh.
Yeah, pero the thing kasi you need games eh. Parang hindi, like, imagine mo in a span of almost 2 years, nakakatatlong laro pa lang siya.
Paano
right
naman
now,
yung... Yeah, go ahead.
If I were managing him, I would have him fly to the US or Europe to train. Kasi here, ang kalaro niya dito, parang lahat maliit. So, putya, kahit anong tape ang
walang
padala
progress.
Walang progress kasi they would see na parang
walang mas malakas sa kanya. Kumbaga, walang mas malakas sa kanya.
Even if he's averaging 20 points and 20 rebounds per game, it doesn't make sense. Kasi sabihin nila, yung bumabantay sa kanya, 6'3" lang eh. So, he needs to go against tougher competition, stronger and faster, and taller players. Kasi, with his skill level, pare, Ange Kwame can become like a prince, parang Clint Capella. Pero
pare,
hindi siya ma-expose.
Di ba ngayon, Japan is open na, then I heard Korea. So, ano pang mga Asian countries are you guys looking at? Or yun na yun?
Taiwan is very aggressive. Taiwan is, eventually we're gonna have 1 or 2 players there.
Do they pay well also there?
Yes, they pay mga $10,000 to $15,000 a month. So that's pretty good.
Malayo sa PBA, pare.
Malayo. So at the same time, yeah, see China, they're opening up their borders also for Asian imports.
Pero
And the
pag
thing is,
China, laki ng sweldo dun.
malaki rin.
For sure.
China's salary is similar to Japan. Japan, malaki mag-sweldo. But the problem now is, kasi the PBA is a good league. Ang ganda ng talent ng PBA, but they need to adapt. Kasi
Yes.
there's just, everything is going fast. Diba? Everyone is innovating, but we're stuck here. So, kasi in terms of talent, parang the PBA still has the best talent in Asia, if you ask me. But diba, they're not presenting the league properly. Parang you
Yes.
watch it on TV, it's not even in high definition. Parang it's,
Yeah.
you want to present it in a very high, in a high, in a high platform.
So what do you think about the new league that Jai Reyes
Field basketball.
established?
It's a semi-pro
It's more
league,
open,
so
right?
It's a semi-pro league. So yeah, Jai approached me about it. So it's hindi talaga sa competition against the PBA. It's a semi-pro. But the thing is, parang for me, it's still good kasi it gives, employment to other players. Nawala sila kasi sa PBA, you only have 12 teams.
Yung
Tapos, syempre,
Petro Basketball MPBL.
yun rin, diba? Kasi yung mga MPBL, yung mga PBA D-League, ano lang yan, it's very temporary. Kasi wala masyadong backing, walang funds. So yeah, like for example, wala na.
Oh, si Bob, may tanong ka. Good
Pasok na.
evening.
Hi, good evening, sir. Hi, good evening po.
Go.
Okay, nagbabalik.
Go ahead.
Oh, so balikan natin yung comparison ng MPBL, yung kay Jai, tsaka yung PBA. Ikaw, on your point of view, with your current experience, ano bang meron ng PBA?
The PBA, kasi
Bakit nandiyan pa rin?
the PBA is already an established league. 45 years and counting. I mean, you can't really, in Tagalog.
Oldest league ba siya sa Asia?
Asia. It's the second oldest league in the world
World.
Talaga?
after the NBA.
Talaga?
The NBA is 75 years. It's followed by the PBA.
Wow,
So
sobrang tagal.
to Bob's question, the PBA, it's a stable league. The problem with the PBA is they have so much talent, but at the same time, they're not going with, they're not adapting to, how things are now. Kasi the things that they're implementing now in 2021 are the same things that they were implementing in 1980. So, when you think about it, 41 years, diba? So, parang the Japan B League is only 6 years old. 6. Pero, they're so aggressive. Na parang, they're adapting new rules, Asian import. The PBA, the PhilAm rules, the marketing and everything is still the same to how it was 40 years ago. So
Hindi
just
na
imagine,
nagbago,
parang, tayo, as a generation, as a fan, we need to see something fresh. Diba? Hindi naman parang ako, growing up, parang, I was a diehard Shell fan. Benji Paraso na magsama. Pero syempre, at that time when we were in our teenager years, wala naman tayong ibang outlet. It was just cable TV and basketball. Wala pa namang internet nun. Now, diba, with how things are, with how fast things are, rather. Which there are so many things. But there's e-games, there's social media, diba? There is Netflix, there's streaming. So sometimes sports is the fifth option. So if you think about the PBA as a league, if they're not evolving, which they're going to be left behind, which is happening.
Magiging stagnant.
Stagnant. So diba, in anything, kahit anong negosyo, if you're not able to evolve and reinvent, the the packaging of the product of your brand, you're going to be left behind. And that's what's happening. And the problem is, internally, the PBA is being managed by 60, 70-year-old people. They're not aware with how things are with social media. So whenever they hear na parang napag-iiwanan na tayo, yung circle nila, sinasabi nila, hindi totoo yan, tayo, okay pa rin tayo. So, they never sila nag-welcome ng new ideas. Pero, pare, I can guarantee you, in the Philippines, no league can go head-to-head with the PBA because they're the only professional league. Number two, they have the best talent. The only league that went head-to-head with the PBA that I felt had potential was the NBA in 2001.
Oo.
Kasi, di ba, they had a good financial backer, ABS-CBN. Problema doon, they wanted to be as big as the PBA right away. Total, nangyari, nawala sila ng pera. Kasi yung PBA, pare, established yan. They will never be another league as big as the PBA. But the problem is, if they want to retain the talent, they need to adapt and they need to package the league in a different manner.
Bakit kaya limitado lang talaga yung team sa PBA, no? Walang gusto mag-invest. No? Kasi pag nagda-draft, 'di ba? Sayang yung mga umaabot sa 4 na rounds, 'di ba? Sa may sisiksik yan eh. Tiki-15 lang yan.
Problema, maraming gustong pumasok na teams like Chooks to Go,
Okay.
Mighty Sports, Happy, yung toothpaste. But the problem is, the league, yung board of governors, they're trying to control it. Ayaw nila magpasok para kontrolado nila yung liga. So, again, it goes back to what they did before. They allowed sister teams. When you allow sister teams, it's not good kasi it will, eventually, you will eventually have farm teams. Diba, syempre, laging may team A. Magkakaroon ka ng team B. And then, what they did, like for example, a team like Chooks to Go, hindi sila makapasok kasi the PBA made a rule a few years ago that you cannot let another franchise enter that's in competition with another team.
Oh.
So for example, Chooks to Go, hindi pwede dahil may Magnolia. Magnolia chicken. Dati walang ganon. So sa akin, okay nga yun eh. Ganda kaya gawa ng storyline yun. Diba?
Oo.
Chooks to Go versus Magnolia chicken, parang ganda na. Pero, diba?
Paglabanan nyo, kasama nyo na marketing nyo dyan. Nakikita nyo yan.
Exactly. Diba? So, yun yung naging problema dahil, so, easily, diba, the PBA could have 14 to 15 teams na malalakas. Pero, again, I go back. One is they allowed sister teams, which is not good in any way. Wala namang may sister team sa ibang liga. Sa atin lang.
Oo. Sayang
So,
diba?
and the second part is they disregarded teams who want to join the league with enough financial backing. But since may conflict dahil nga pareho ng brand, pareho ng produkto, bawal. Dati diba may Shell. Ginawa ng San Miguel, pinasok nila yung Petron.
Umalis ang Shell.
Tanggal ang Shell.
Wala Shell.
Sayang. Dati may fan base yun. So ngayon, ilan na lang ang independent teams? 4. Diba? So Alaska,
Yung Clipper.
Phoenix.
Ang LA nga, 2 teams, diba?
Oh, exactly, diba? Ang New York nga, 2 teams. Diba? So,
sayang, no?
Parang,
kasi maganda
makita tayo ng makita tayo ng Jollibee, no?
Exactly. Imagine mo,
Jollibee, McDo.
Jollibee, McDonald's, diba?
BDO.
And then Sprite and Pepsi. Ganda naman, diba? Coke and Pepsi. Banks.
Saka magkakaroon ng yung mga, katulad nga sinabi nga kanina, yung mga nagda-draft, maabot na ng 4th round. Saan mo na isasalpak yung mga yan? Alam mo na kompleto na yung lineup ng isang team.
Oo, and saka, yun, exactly, yung talent. Parang, number 1, there are teams na sobra namang stack from 1 to 8, punong-puno na sila. Diba? kumbaga, for me, yung parity ng liga, ang layo. Na parang yung San Miguel is so strong, you compare it to, a Blackwater. Which talaga wala silang talent. So, parang ikaw, pag draft night, ikaw yung Blackwater, when you get a number 1 or a lottery pick in this manner, since you don't have the capacity to pay the player, after 1 or 2 years, ibebenta mo na. So, yun yung kasi yung kwento yung sabi ni Papi na parang, ang sarap gawan ng kwento na parang hindi lang Manila Classico yung rivalry. Pare, meron kang banks, meron kang food chains, meron kang gasolina.
O nga, paso na yung paso na yung Manila Classico ulit-ulit na lang.
Sawa-sawa na yung mga tao.
Sawa-sawa na. Binubrought up pa nila. Siguro, parang wala nang amor
So, ako, for me, as a sports agent, it's really, really disappointing. Kasi, I want my players to think and believe that the PBA is still the best league. But the truth is, it's not.
Pero PJ,
kasi,
go ahead.
When you watch, kunwari yung Japan D-League, parang ganda ng presentation, ganda ng production. Iba Parang ikaw, as a fan, tayo, when you watch, excited ka di ba? Which pag itong PBA bubble, when you see it, parang, minsan nga, ayaw mo na panoorin Kung wala lang akong player, hindi ka pa panoorin.
Pero PJ, pwede bang mag-20 teams ang PBA if kaya talaga? Kung papayagan nila?
Based on how things are now, baka 20 is too deep. Baka 15.
Kaya yon. Ilan ba yung pinakamarami back then?
Ito na yung pinakamarami. Dati 7 lang. 7, naging 10, naging 12.
12 na ngayon
Ngayon 12.
12 ngayon.
Kaya mag-15. Kasi, pero you need to, you need to distribute the talent. Kasi ang raming galing ng PBA players pa. Ako, honestly, that's the thing that's sad.
Yung talent,
Ang galing ng
Filipino talent.
Ngayon, ibang-iba.
Ano yung mga companies na gusto pumasok ng PBA na narinig mo?
BDO.
Shops to Go.
BDO?
Banco de Oro, SM. Para si SM, since ang laki ng pera niya, gusto niya pumasok ng PBA, ayaw siya papasukin. Puta, binili nila yung ENU. Para may school sila. Sa UAAP. True story yan, Sabi nila, okay, mas magandang marketing dito sa mas magandang marketing dito sa UAAP. Dito na lang kami.
Sayang, no? Ang PBA, simula ng trend yan, nakaskirt yung mga player, no?
At saka pare, dapat sa akin, the board of governors, they need to be open-minded.
Yes. Old school
Sobra.
Matatanda nga yung mga
Siyempre, sa akin kasi, not naman that because they're old. Pero they need new blood. They need parang
new ideas.
Actually, matanda na nga tayo. They need younger people. Diba? Sayang.
Pero may market pa rin ba ang PBA sa younger generation? Parang hindi ko na nakikita na yung mga 20s parang nanonood pa rin ba yun? Hindi katulad ng back then nung tayo.
Diba? Meron, Bogs, pero unfortunately, yes and no.
Hindi na parang nung time natin.
It's the D and E market.
Masa market.
Masa talaga. Yung A, B, upper C, hindi talaga. Wala na pakialam.
Wala na
pakialam. Tayo, nanonood pa tayo.
Nanonood pa ako. Kasi generation natin.
Airpads mo, Bogs.
Soka na lang ata
Airpads mo, Bogs. Airpads mo, Bogs.
Wait, yung dad ko hindi na sabi niya laos na PBA, hindi niya pinapanood. So alam niya yung
Bogs, ilang years yung Airpads mo sa PBA?
Almost 10 din So sabi niya yung glory days talaga ng PBA nawala na talaga, not like nung maybe hanggang early 2000 or 90s.
Coming from a legend na yan.
So tama nga yung sinasabi ni PJ na kailangan mag-reinvent something fresh to jumpstart yung league. Kasi parang same old stuff yung ginagawa nila
Alam mo na yung istorya no?
Oo. Tapos obvious na yung mga nakikita nating trades. Tapos yung alam mo na superpower yung parang side
San
na lang
Miguel.
yung
At
mga...
saka for me, parang
Ako, San Miguel ako eh.
ako pare, parang I want the athletes to be excited every time they could
Yes.
carry. Alam mo yun, parang pare, di ba nung bata tayo, nung naglalaro ka, parang tayo na kahit pupunta ka lang ng Lourdes or Xavier, parang alam mo may game ka. Iba yung mata mo eh. I want the
Oo.
players to feel that. Kasi dito, darating sila, semi-bubble sa Pampanga. But hindi man lang ayusin yung court. Parang if I were managing the PBA, parang I would dress it up. Gandahan mo. Para when people watch the game, they see na parang, uy, pare, premium tong PBA, ganda.
Buhay na buhay.
Tayo, buhay na buhay, di ba? But tayo, when we see it, parang putang pare.
Wala, parang
So-
gym lang sa school eh.
Exactly. Di ba? Nakikita nga pa yung nagja-jogging sa taas.
Oo. So yung mga nalulod sa taas, nakatayo. Ginagawa
Seryoso?
niyo.
Sayang.
Sa bubble?
Oo,
Sa
par.
bubble?
Parang may Raols lang eh, no?
Mayra.
Parang practice
Meron.
lang, ah.
Para lang matawid, pare. Para lang matawid. Eh, kasi
So,
nanonood ako ng
and
PBA.
then- Siyempre ako, I talk to the general managers and I'm friends with them. And every time I talk to them, pare, ang puta, hindi na ako nalulungkot. The first thing that they tell me is, pare, wala ng pera. Parang, how do you run a business? Parang, if your mindset is you don't have money. Parang Filipino mentality yan. Parang, oh no, don't say that. Diba? You need to make the people confident na okay tayo. So that's a big problem of the league. Parang they always want the people to think na wala silang pera. That's not good. Parang ako, if I want to invest in something, parang mag-invest ako kay Papi. Tapos sinabi niya sa akin, pare, medyo mahirap, walang pera. Puta, hindi na ako magbibigay ng pera kay Papi. Ganun. Di ba?
Kumpiyansa ko, wala eh.
Wala ka ng kumpiyansa eh. Kung kaya ako, sponsor ako, gusto kong bilhin yung presentation rights ng PBA. Tapos ang unang sasabihin sa akin ng commissioner, walang pera yung PBA. But hindi na ako mag-i-invest. So ganun lagi. So yun yung masama for me na parang they need to change the whole outlook.
Ngayon, wake up call na nila kasi yung mga player nila kinukuha na ng mga ibang mga countries.
Exactly.
Wake up call na yan. And then,
Exactly.
gumagawa na lang silang band-aid solution.
Yeah, exactly.
Hmm.
So the question is, how will they respond?
How long? How long will they wake
And
up?
diba?
They move.
Paano mo
Diba?
gagawin?
Parang, how will they respond? Kasi if I were the PBA, which I'll bring in a new marketing team. I'll present a 3 to 5 year plan. Para kahit social media ng PBA, putya, ang sama.
Oo nga.
Parang walang plano. Wala man lang
Oo.
roadmap on how to present. Parang
Hindi ko
even
nga
yung mga highlights.
Hindi ko nga maalam kung saan ko papaload yung PBA outside outside the cable eh. Saan ko ba hanapin to?
Totoo.
Ang hirap,
So yun,
hirap
diba? For
maglapit.
me, that's a big piece. Kasi to your point, Papi, parang you need to communicate properly
With the
kung saan
fans.
kayo lumalabas. Oo,
Oo.
ganyan. So, yun yung sayang sa akin, siyempre ako, nakakalungkot kasi if I wasn't managing players, parang hindi ako manonood niya.
Talaga?
Pero siyempre, I need to know how my players are doing. Kaya ako in tune dahil nga because of my craft. Pero now, with 2 players in Japan, it's great and it's great, but it's also sad kasi the
Your
PBA,
talent.
pare,
Your talent is going out.
na we grew up watching, diba? Parang ano tayo, like look at how the NBA is. Minsan nagkikwentuhan tayo dati nung high school tayo na parang tanga na paano kaya pag wala na si Jordan? Paano kaya yung NBA? But galing, diba? How they were able to evolve. Naputa, nawala na yung Jordan, nawala na yung Kobe. Pero kahit mawala si LeBron in the next 2 years, which iba na sila eh. You have the new faces. Ang galing nila mag-market. And for me, since we love to follow and copy what the NBA does, ba't di natin gawin yun? Diba? To storytell.
Hindi, ang ginagawa kasi ng NBA, they take care of the upcoming players.
Exactly.
Parang yung sa atin naman, naging reverse, parang tinatakot pa nila para bumalik. Hindi nila ine-entice na magstay.
Ito, I'll give you one example, Pat. Diba? Like in the NBA, over the years, which yung salary ng players, pare, talagang wild. Lumipad from making $10 million a year. Now they're making 50,
30 to
45
50.
to
Oh,
50
40.
million.
Sa Trae Young, nasa 200 din sila Luka.
Imagine mo
Max na, nagma-max na. So, may
pare,
max, may super max pa.
in the PBA, the players in the 90s were already making 500,000 a month. So
A
that's
month.
6 million a year.
Hindi na nagbago.
Pre, 2021, punta na yung max ng 1990 na 500. Bumaba pa to 450. Yung pare, economic GDP na lang yung growth rate ng 1990 to 2021, 31 years. Puta, grabe na yung jump. So dapat, kung sumasabay tayo, puta dapat yung 500,000 ng 1990, puta dapat yan 1.5M na. Pero
Kasi yung Kalabong Ravenna, sila yung mga talk and text na natin 500.
500. So, ang masama dyan, di ba, yung sabi ko nga, lahat ng ibang teams na kaya magbayad, nag-under the table. So, walang parity. Imagine mo, di ba, parang, kaya na si Benji para si Labong Ravenna, 1990, 500,000. Tapos yung superstar na yun, 450 lang. Parang, wait naman na pag-iwanan ka na ng panahon.
Pero, diba, may under the table naman. Pero gets.
Pero hindi.
Legally dapat.
Ilan lang yun. Pero, ang problema doon, kasi si PBA Commissioner,
Marshall,
siya ng
Willie
Board
Marshall.
of Governors. Ayaw, sinasabi ng mga team owners, hindi, wag mo taasan yung salary cap. Puta, mahihirapan kami. For me, dapat the commissioner should be the law. Which sasabihin niya, no, if you can't sustain your salary, umalis kayo. Wala siyang tapang na gano'n.
Wala siyang tapang na gano'n.
Kasi kontrolado lahat.
Kontrolado ng Board of.
For me, doon pa lang, parang yung part lang na ang lungkot. Diba? Kasi putya, pare, kung maayos yung PBA by now, yung June Fajardo, he should be making 2 million a month. Pero hindi.
Parang sinabi mo lang yung tuition natin sa Lasal noon back then was 40, ngayon 200. So dapat sa kanila, dapat nag-ano rin.
Dapat, yung growth rate nun, dapat pareho. Yun yung
umusad
bad.
no?
Hindi umusad, diba?
Hindi, ang problema naman kasi as owners, well, tama ka rin naman doon sa sinabi mo na kung hindi mo kaya, umalis kayo. Siyempre yung iba, baka yun lang yung budget nila for this specific marketing as maintaining a team. Pero syempre, as yung mga board members, umuo naman lahat yun. Na sige, stick to this.
It's a risk I'm willing to take. If there are teams who cannot sustain the growth of the league,
hindi, yun na nga. As of now, they need to take a look at that now because players are leaving.
No nga, pero for me, I'm confident enough na let's say, si Rainer Shan, sabihin niya, or Alaska, hindi ko kaya yung ganyang swelduhan. Kailangan, for me to stay in the league, sasabihin niya sa commissioner na I'll only give you 420 or 450. That's the only way I can stay in the league. Sabihin ko, no, you can't. You need to pay them, over and above 1 million. If they leave the league, I can guarantee you that because I've done the league the right way, those people will eventually leave the league, but there will be new teams who will replace them. Kasi maganda, that's assuming na maganda yung liga.
Okay, like PJ right now, di ba, may ilang players ka? 20 players. So, doon sa 20 players ba na yun, nagtatanong na sila sa'yo na kung kaya bang ilipat sila sa ibang league? May marami na ba nagtatanong sa'yo yan?
Meron, pero kasi I'm fortunate enough na all of the players that I manage medyo control.
Or gusto mo rin i-maintain pa rin sila dito?
There are players na I still want to, I want them to stay here. Pero kasi, yun nga, like what I was telling you, over the years, I was able to develop them and train them the right way na mentally, medyo solid sila eh. Na hindi sila yung tipong naghahanap ng pera. I always tell them na parang yung overseas is not for everyone. Kahit magaling ka dito. Kasi syempre, being away from family, hindi biro yan. So, pero ako, like to answer your question, there are still players who I would want to remain here. Pero syempre, gusto ko bigyan ng pressure yung PBA dahil
Yes, you need,
at the end of the day,
syempre.
Sariling liga pa rin dapat.
Sariling liga rin pa dapat, di ba?
Ako kasi, I've offered my services which if I could help them. Gusto ko natin bigyan ng medyas, di ba? So,
hindi naman ata ganun ka.
I mean, it's kumbaga, for me, ang sarap yung project ng PBA na. I mean, syempre, it's not easy. It's not easy. But if you have the machinery, if you have the money, which sarap pagandahin yun. And I can guarantee you na parang, it's not gonna be that quick. Pero given the right amount of time, 6 months to 1 year, everybody who's watched the PBA before, when they see the new product, they can easily tell you na parang, uy, ganda ng PBA. And eventually, diba, you're gonna win new eyes, new audience. Kasi lalo na ngayon, pandemic, this is the best time to brand. Dahil maraming tao na nasa bahay.
Nanonood. Which is tama.
Bob, you have a question, Bob?
Hindi, yun nga. Wala ano lang ako sa story ng nangyayari ngayon, no? Kasi syempre lahat yung kinalagayan natin yung liga yan eh.
Public knowledge naman yan eh. Kahit anong
At saka kinalagayan natin yung liga.
Wala naman pwede itago si PJ, public knowledge naman eh. Iba bulag-bulagan lang. Pero as a fan na katulad natin, ganun pa rin.
PJ, ikaw ba, napunta ka na ba sa isang sitwasyon na naipit ka dahil sa mga nangyayari na kunin yung player na ganito at yung player na ganyan?
Naku, baka
Meron
kailangan i-edit yan.
Oo.
Nangyari lang din. Hindi naman siya secret. Pero nangyari na yan. Pero again, it all boils down to how you react in that kind of situation. So ako kasi I've always maintained a professional relationship with them. Na even if they would try to bully me or tell me otherwise, fortunately I have all my players in the right places right now.
Wow.
So
maraming agent rin, pre. Other than you?
Konti lang, para in the Philippines. Konti lang. Sila.
Nap Gutierrez, di ba?
Nap Gutierrez.
Dati. Marami nag-aspire.
Si
Danny Espiritu, no?
Danny Espiritu. Tsaka si
Sila Marvin. Tsaka si Matt Manotok.
Carly D.
Yung si Montenegro.
Nap Gutierrez.
Nap Gutierrez.
Si
Mother Lily.
Di ba?
Mother Lily, di ba yung anak niya?
Hindi Montenegro.
Hindi Montenegro,
Hans Montenegro.
Naja.
Sorry.
Jojo Veloso yun, kay Jojo Veloso.
Don Monteverde.
Monteverde pala, sorry, Monteverde. Nag-agent
Hans Montenegro.
Gago si Bogs eh. Sinabi niya yun. Nahas na Montenegro ka na ba? Ang layo ng tanong eh. Marami na rin.
Marami na rin. Pero the good thing is there's a new breed eh. Maraming bata.
Maraming bata. That's good. That's good.
Maraming tumatawag. And I like it kasi I would always tell them na parang I want them to elevate the level of management. Kasi diba, it's good for them and it's good for the players.
Pare ako may tanong.
Pero
paano yung for you as a sports agent and now for college players, they don't have competition. Like how do they cope up with what's happening right now? Yung development nila, yung mga inaalagaan yung college players.
I've
kasi ang professional they have their own training na they can train, right?
At saka, and they get paid even if there's no league.
Yeah, like
The-
ngayon may parang inaalagaan kayong college, di ba?
Meron. So
Paano ang training nila? Because walang competition, syempre bababa yung laro nun, di ba?
ako, two things. One is, like ito, during the start of the pandemic, I had players in college who I, you know, who I managed to, you know, to transition from collegiate to pro. Because I knew na parang it would take a while before they get to play. And syempre, in any sport, pare, you're only as good as your last one. So it's a game of relevance. If you're not relevant, diba, parang even if you had the best year in college in 2019, by 2021, nakalimutan na ng tao yan. Even if you're that good. So two players that, you know, that made the jump. One is Calvin Aftana. He still had one more year in San Beda. I told him.
Pero hinog na yun eh, di ba?
Hinog na, sobra.
I told him na it's time for you to jump. And syempre at the time, medyo loyal sa San Beda. Sabi ko, this is the time for you. Kasi breadwinner ka rin. So he did that. And then another one for the other players. And sila Tyler. Since I knew that the pandemic would take a while, and syempre nga, walang visibility when it comes to when the UAAP will start or the NCAA. What I did was...
Hindi pa PBA yun, yung TIO?
Hindi pa.
Ateneo pa.
Ateneo. So I made a new profession for him. I had him be present in NBA shows in one sports.
One
sport. Showbiz. Just to make him a personality. And then for the other,
parang Christian.
Oh, exactly. For the other players naman who don't have the ability to become a personality, it's just a matter of, you know, being patient and going, you know, staying through the grind. Kasi there's really nothing that you can do, but you know, but wait and see when the next time that you can play.
Okay. Next okay na yan. Natawid na natin yung yung basketball and PBA. Let's go to the pictures na lang para to explain na lang. Okay?
With the classic.
Si Richie,
Katabi ko si Tainyo tsaka si Richie Lim.
Nasaan ka ba dyan? Ikaw ba yung nasa gitna?
Bola sa gitna. Oo, putang liit ko.
Parang liit mo dyan.
First year yan, liit ko pa ng first year, pare, 5'3" lang ako.
Parang liit mo dyan. Ikaw ba yan?
Mark Morales, Ricky Castillo, si Peñano.
Kapal ng buhok mo, pare.
Jeff Neri.
Mark Morales, Castillo. 2F, 2F.
DX.
Wala pang wala pang balik si Tenyo niyan eh.
Ano section nito, Pidge?
1F.
1F.
Ano yan? That was my first year in
Lasal.
It was fun. No? Kasi itong grupo na to, yan sila Pete.
Parang yung nakilala kita, malaking bulas ka na. Kasi parang
college na eh.
Itsura mo dito, parang
Oo, ito. Parang hindi ikaw eh.
Parang hindi ikaw eh. Oh?
Oo.
Mas malaki pa si Richie sa'yo eh.
Alam mo si Royan Doyan eh, no?
Parang Royan Doyan lang eh.
Si Peñano pala yun.
Classic yan. Ako ito para si RJ yan.
RJ? Jeff Neri?
Boss yan si Neri. Jeff Neri. Saya itong class na to. Kukulit. Si John, kaklase ka dito.
Si John Bao.
Mark Morales. John Bao ang klase ka.
John Bao, okay.
Good day, ano yan? Good stuff yan. Good memories.
Ito,
wedding ni John to.
Iba na itsura mo dito.
Ito, iba na talaga itsura mo dito pa. From here.
Iba na yan.
Oh, parang to.
Iba na yan.
From here, and then ganito na. Ayan. Dito pala si Chachi,
2013. Wedding ni John.
Wedding ni John.
Wala pa nga akong balbas dyan.
Wala ka pang balbas dito.
O yan yung barkada ni... Sige, ikaw, Peach. Ikaw na maganda.
Kami yung itsura ni Bogs, pareho pa rin hanggang ngayon.
Yun pa rin forever young. Si Bogs.
Ano to, barkada ni John. Talagang ito yung grupo
Barkada ni
niya.
John.
Kami lang
Ogags
yung
ka ba?
nakadun.
Ogags ka ba? Hindi ka Ogags,
Hindi,
no?
hindi ako Ogags.
Hindi ka Ogags eh. Hindi ka Ogags. No. Hindi ka sali
Hindi,
sa
ano to
Ogags.
PGB boys to eh. Ito yung grupo talaga nila, nila
Ito yung
John.
crew nyo. Ito yung crew nyo nila John. Yung Ogags,
Kasi
dagdag na lang.
ako, others lang rin ako dyan.
Others ka sa Ogags rin talaga eh. Oo.
Oo, kasi ever since pare close ako kay John talaga. Dahil nga childhood friend ko.
Ito, andito ka ba? Nakita ko to sa Facebook mo eh.
Ay na, malupit
Yan,
to ah.
ako yung stripe.
Saan? Ito
Sa baba.
Sa yung red?
Stripe na red.
Sa baba naka-stripe na red.
Grabe ah. Ano ba nangyari sa itsura mo ngayon?
Yeah.
Ano yan?
May Lasal classmate ka ba dyan? Na naging...
Ito, makakilala mo to. Kilala mo to, Vince. Ito si JP Enriquez. Kilala mo.
Saan? Malaki na rin yung itsura niya.
Katabi ng teacher. Sa kanan.
Oo. Ganyan yung itsura niya. Yung medyo yung ilong.
Si Laudico. Sino ba?
Si Laudico.
Vito puta. Si Vito nandito.
Saan? Ito? Saan si Vito dyan?
Same row ni JP. Yung ano bang shape to?
Ayun, ito pre. Yung bunot.
Madali, pipicturean ko.
Yung bunot.
Zoom mo.
Picture ako si Vito. Okay na yan.
Sino pa dyan?
Dali. Pipicturean ko. Anong grade to? Anong grade?
Puta, hindi ka maalala. Parang grade 2 yata.
Naka-casual kayo, pre?
For class picture.
For class picture. Okay. Ano pa nga bata? Naka-casual na kayo, ha? I mean, hindi. Grade school.
Class picture. Marami ka pang kalala dito. Mga UAAP dito. Si Ellie Del Rosario. Reggie Ponferrada. Paulino.
Wesley. Wala ba? Younger? Wala.
Pero kabatch natin yun.
Okay na? Okay, next picture.
Si Vito lang yata ang galingan. Si J.R. Ramos.
J. Ramos?
Saan?
Yan sa baba. Yata.
Yan. Oo. Si Ramos nga.
Si Ramos. Ito na yung Si Dale,
Si Jomo. Puta.
Si Jomo. Si Dale,
Ito, grade 4, grade 5.
Yeah, si Dale, si Dale, tsaka si
Si Dale,
pipicturean ko.
Si Allrock ba yan?
Pipicturean ko si Dale tsaka si Ferdy.
Si Rocky.
Si Rocky yan, no?
Sandali.
Si Rocky, ito.
Si Rocky, oh.
Galing.
Tisoy.
Si ano to, si Aaron na.
Si Aaron.
Si Aaron pa.
Marami nag-Ateneo to Lasal pare.
Ateneo pala si Aaron.
Ateneo si Aaron.
Si Jomo, nakita niya? Nakita niya si Jomo?
Ito, Jomo.
Kasi Mang Ben, no? Yun. Jomo,
yun, no?
Jomo, katabi. Katabi niya si kilala mo si Benny Buyan?
Si Ben. Ito si Ben, no? Nga, no? Ito pala si Ben, no? Kaklase pala si Ben.
Grade 7 to. Grade 7.
Grade 7.
Benjo Marquez. Siyagang kay ko. Ako, ito, nakaputang. Liit ko dito.
Saan ka ba dyan?
Tangina. Yan sa pinakababa, katabi ni Joffrey.
Ito,
Hindi high school ka, payat. Tapos dyan, parang yan yung weight.
Ito ka, di ba?
Ayan, katabi ni Joffrey.
Pipicturean ko si Job.
Picture mo muna.
Picturean ko si Job.
Putang ina. Maliit ka niya, pare, mga 5 lang yata.
Sige.
Clean look no? Linis, no? Walang alam. Joffrey, tayo na. Bogs, Joffrey,
Bakit? Kaibigan ko yung gago.
Kaibigan ko yan, gago.
Ha? Ayan, na-picturean ko.
Ayos yan.
Anong grade yan, Peach?
7.
5?
7.
Oh, nasaan si Papi?
Nawala si Papi.
Grabe itsura. Parang nag-morph ah.
Nag-morph ka,
Wala,
nag-iba yung
wala.
tsura mo every year
Hindi, nakasquat ako eh. Liit ko eh. Maliit talaga ako
Nag-iba
para
kada taon.
Si Dale, oh. Laki ni Dale rin eh.
Si Dale, para si Dale, tsaka si Ferdy, tsaka si Aaron. Putak mo na. Kung ano yung tsura ni Dale ngayon, yan yun eh. Yan na
Si
yun.
Dale parang hindi na nagbago itsura.
Hindi na nagbago yung
Yan,
tsura ni Dale.
katabi ni Allrock si J.R. Ramos.
Ito, J. Ramos, oh.
Allra. Oo nga, si JR parang hindi na nagbago rin yung itsura. Oo.
Parang
Oh,
walang
lumaki
klase
lang
to
yung
eh, no?
nunal.
Si Olrak tsaka si
Lumaki
Dale.
lang yung nunal. Marami na. Itong class na to, pare. Ang raming naglasal.
Ito yung grade 7 nyo.
Oo.
Oo, ang dami.
Kaya pala eh.
Joffrey, oh.
Sino pa dyan naglasal? Wala na ata.
Hindi nyo naman pinag-usapan yun eh.
Hindi, pare. Tangin na. Lahat lang kami hindi bumaksak. Lahat kami bumaksak ng Ateneo.
Ito yung mga... Grabe tong section na to. All-star ah.
Oo, pare. Malakas to. Isig katabi ko. Putang na.
Pintor, Prieto, Melendres,
Payopi. Yan. And si Silva na dyan.
Payopi, sila
Si
Aldi.
Sitas.
Si
Meron
Andoni
ka
pala
palang kaibigan si ano eh, no?
no?
Si Vito talaga, no? Mga bata, musmus pa kayo, no?
Si
Yan,
Andoni
nakaklose
pala
kami dito.
classmate mo nun eh. Tsaka si Silva
Itong
pala
class na to,
nandun
solid
eh.
kami. Silva nandito.
Si Jomo nandiyan sa harapan, no? Tignan mo.
Si
Jomo rin, no?
Pamplona.
Jomo.
Oh, si J.R.
Para
Ramos nandun na naman eh.
Si J. Ramos, dito na naman.
Si Jomo, puta, lagi ko mga klase tsaka si JR.
Pare mukhang slim ka pa dyan ha. O si
Puta, yun na ka ba?
Kabila.
Tumaba na ba ako ngayon?
Hindi, ito medyo slim ka
Itong
eh.
class
Parang
na to.
American
Ito
na yung
pare,
suit.
dito si Zamora pa, papi, oh.
Sandali. Zoom
si
out
Zam.
mo, zoom out. Sino yung katabi ni J.R. Ramos? Ayun no? Kaisip?
Kaisip.
Isip tsaka si
Kaisip.
Pamplona.
Pamplona.
Eh sino yung nasa katabi ni Ordinaryo? Sino to? Si
Ito?
Sarmiento?
Ito?
Ito. Katabi ni
Sarmiento.
David. Hindi. Yan.
Jake
Pompom.
Sarmiento. Kasi ano?
Si
Pompom.
Ito si
JP
Pompom.
Sarmiento ba yan?
Ito, JP
JP
Sarmiento.
Sarmiento. Oh.
Si Zam eh. Oh.
Ay, Zam. Rosel.
Parang
Epot.
sa ano ng class na to. Kasi
Si
Miss
ano?
Bernita. Si Miss
Yung
Bernita.
binubuli yung sa lower left na pangatlo.
Si
Arca.
Arca. Si Arca.
Arca.
Kawawa yan. Katabi ni Arca, si Ben De Leon.
Ito, may reunion kayo, par.
Yan, pare, lahat ng lasalista. Na
Jomo na naman, no?
Si Tyrone, no? Kung pera.
Lahat. Corcuera, Mar, Dale, Freddy, Jomo, Richie, Peter, Ramos. Lahat, nagpicture kami lahat ng naglasal.
Mario. Meron
Si
kayo,
Jomo,
ano?
Stereo.
Ba't hiwalay ang grade school reunion nyo sa high school, pre?
Alam mo pare, yung high school, wala silang reunion. Mas solid yung Ateneo grade school.
Ganun doon? But, well, dito kasi wala kaming grade school, mas solid ang high school.
Baliktad pare. Kaya nga
Baliktad,
okay
no?
for us. No, dahil connected kami sa lahat.
Oh, well. Ito yun, di ba?
Yan yun, pare. Lahat ng, hindi naman. May iba ditong ibang, hindi na.
Si Gisbert nga, nandyan eh.
Yan, si Philip.
Oh, si
Sabi,
Gisbert,
itsura ni Richie, oh. Mukhang
Richie,
hindi
oh.
na bayad.
Parang kaaway, eh.
Tapos si Allrock, oh.
Ano, nakabagbayan si Richie?
Parang nakachaleko ang puta.
Si Gisbert.
Yan, ito na yung ano mo.
Yan, kasama ka pa si Sudan para rest.
Si Sudan, pare,
Oo.
namatay.
Oo.
So ito, pare, one of our projects with Slam is we
With
have
Slam.
a summer hoops camp. Every year, kasama yan sila Jeff, Willie, sa ibang players. So we teach kids from 12 to 16 years old every year.
Grassroots training.
So more of outreach and at the same time, yan, grassroots whenever
Scouts,
we get
scout and grassroots.
At the same time, syempre ako, I've always wanted to be connected with coaching pa rin. So I still get to do it.
Ito na same rin.
Okay siya. Yan, sila Tony, Coach Tony Willie. Ang galing rin eh, kasi when you're with them, syempre you learn something new. Kahit kasama mo sila. Ang galing rin.
O, kamusta daw PJ kay Vito? Hindi lang siya makapasok kasi may daylight, madaling araw na raw sa Australia.
Oh, 3 hours, 3 hours ang
Yan,
So,
sa
yung mga
bahay
friends
ni
mo
Bob
talaga.
Ayan yung mga good boys. Eh, na yung
Good
naka-blue.
boys, kasama.
Yung may
Kasama si Jimmy
bigote.
D.
Yung nakabigote, oh.
Yan,
Yeah.
si ano yan, COVID part 2. Itong nakabigote. Si COVID part 2.
Sama namin bukas yan.
Ito na, nasa rookie camp, draft pick.
Yeah, this
PJ
was
Perez.
the first year ni lsgh, pare. So, I had a
Ayan,
picture
nice.
with them.
Sino mga player na to, pre?
Katabi mo dyan, PJ, sa
Ayahay?
kanan mo.
Yung nasa left, si
Yung sa
MJ
Alaska.
Ayahay, who's
Ayahay
now in
yan.
Ginebra. Tapos si
Ano
Dan
yung
Wong.
Vietnam?
Hindi, sa ano?
Hindi,
NC,
si
NC,
Ayahay,
ano
local
yan,
yan.
NC.
NCAA yan, Lyceum.
LPU
Tapos
yata,
Abu
or
Tratter,
Rater.
Lyceum. Tratter, tapos Denison.
Denison.
Saka si CJ.
CJ.
Yan, lahat yan, until now. Sama ka pa rin.
Sa'yo pa rin yan.
Pero may
Wow.
tanong ako, di ba ang dami mong mga bata? Siyempre iba-iba yung personality niyan tsaka likes
Sobra,
and dislikes,
pare.
di ba?
Ano siya eh. Ako, I learned it at an early.
Nakakapag-adjust ka naman
Release.
sa mga trip na mga to.
Para it's advanced parenting. Kasi puta yung iba, sakit sa ulo yan. Si Abu, minsan, the middle of the night, 3 in the morning, tatawag yan. Puta, napaaway sa club.
So ikaw pa rin
Diba?
yung guardian pa rin nila. Kasi you're
Puta, pag
protecting
nahuhuli
their...
yan.
Yeah.
Oo, tsaka wala na silang ibang mapupuntahan eh. Dahil
Pamilya.
pamilya nila nasa abroad. Tapos, yan, pag nahuhuli ng pulis, puta nga natawag sa akin. Kaya nakakatawa rin, pero at the same time, kailangan mo maging disiplinado.
Parang
Kailangan
nag-aalaga ka
pagaling.
ng anak no? Guardian ka na rin niya.
Oo, pare. Sakit sa ulo minsan.
Pero ano
pag si
lang yun,
CJ nabangga,
minsan-minsan lang.
puta na ako yung una. Oh, bihira naman.
Bira
Pag
naman.
mangyari na madalas, bitawan ko sila.
Mga probinsyano talaga yung mababait eh.
Tayo na, madalas pangyari, bitawan ko yan.
Titan management group.
MJAI.
Ayahay.
When he signed his first contract
Contract
with
signing.
Alaska. So, okay.
Wow.
Sino
2%.
yan?
Laking bagay yan. MJAI.
Magaling yan.
So yan, one thing that we did well was to strengthen the social media. So okay yung si Titan naman when it comes to social media, medyo present kami. So we're able to translate that also with the
Nice. Ito yung liga ng Ateneo, ABL. Epot.
ABL yan, mga bata na yan. Kilala ni
Si Ernst, dito pa si Ernst ha.
Si EB.
Si Buwan.
Si EB.
Buwan. Yan, si Boom Domingo, Mike Sembrano.
Oh, Mike Sembrano. Si 29, pangalan 29?
Si Mike Sembrano.
Oh, Mike Sembrano. Oh, nakakalaro ko yan.
Okay yan. Mga barkada natin yan.
ABL to, no? Ateneo Basketball League.
Oo. Every year yan.
Parang ikaw yung sentro, para.
Hindi, gwardiya ako dyan. Malaki lang.
Bakit si Ernest yung, sentro?
Si Ernest, pare, big man yan. Oh,
Big man yung si Ernest, nakakalama ko yan.
Si Ernest, puta, parang energizer ban yan.
Oo, man.
Yan.
Parang kiti-kiti.
Pero pagkatapos ng game, puta, lupay-pay.
Oo, nakakalaro ko parati yan si Ernest. Ito naman, yung sa atin naman, liga natin.
Oh, talo tayo, puta.
Ano tayo dyan? Pero si Mamba, hindi nag-double-double eh.
Pero masaya rin ta.
Kasi rin, okay lang. Importante naman, naglalaro sama-sama.
Basta naman.
Nag-finals.
Pusong baliwag, oh. Pusong baliwag, eh.
Yan, ito na yan. PJ.
Okay, iba rin ang tsura mo dyan.
Iba na naman yung tsura mo, par. Yung mga
Nagkapalpas
nunal ka pala, ha? Hindi natin alam.
Marami ako nawala, eh.
Di ka tulad ni Tope, pinatanggal. Sa'yo, dyan pa rin.
Okay, I mean, ako pare, I still remember yung sinulat ko na yan. Actually, simulat niya yata, si Tay niya yata, si Ned. Diba ganun tayo? Hindi mo naman susulat eh. Kung mag-check mo lang kung ano yung susulat for you.
Ito, draft pick naman. Management.
Ito pare, ano yan, very, very crucial to. Kasi for 3
Laki
straight
nito,
years,
PJ, sino yung sa pinaka-right na yan? Sino yan? Kasi
Si
Isaac ko,
Ibon.
6'8 na yan, di ba? Di ba?
Si Ibon yan. Si Ibon yung mga 6'6".
Ba't
Pero
parang
ito,
laki?
pare, this picture, yung angle lang yan. Laking bagay niyan kasi this was our 3rd straight year. For me, with a very iconic. It's our 3rd straight year na we had the number 1 pick.
Oo nga eh. Number
So,
one
because
pick.
parang sobrang big deal yan for me. Kasi parang, like what I was telling you, hindi nabutin ni Bob to. When we were starting, I didn't have players. Tapos, after 3 years, all of a sudden, diba, year after year after year, number 1 pick ako lagi. That's huge. So, parang nag-build na ng trust yung mga players sa akin. Parang, wait, tangina. And after this, pare, all the other players that I had, parang, syempre yung effort wasn't the same anymore. Hindi na ako talaga yung lumalabas. Sila na yung lumalapit. Dahil nakita nila yung product eh. Parang premium. Nakikita nila na parang, diba, it's better than others. And at the same time, nagbabago na rin yung approach ko kasi dati naghahanap ako ng mga under the radar eh. Ngayon hindi na pwede.
Hindi
Parang
na.
diba, if they're not as good as I would want them to be, parang di na lang. Kasi not naman to sound arrogant, but it's more of ganun ang business eh. If it doesn't fit your mold anymore, if it doesn't help you in any way from a business standpoint, you have to move on.
Wow.
Diba? Not in an arrogant manner, but it's really more from a business sense.
Last picture, the Titan.
Yeah,
Ano to?
for me,
Titan ba
this is-
talaga pangalan nito? Paano nakuha yung pangalan?
Hindi. Titan lang yan. It's one of our partners, si Dennis. He was the one who came up with the idea.
Hindi to
wanted to
initials
be,
or something na ano?
It's more of a, it's a Greek god.
Mm.
And us being from Nike, it made sense. And since we're
Sama si
we're
Carriazo.
pretty confident, Jeff. So when we're pretty confident when it comes to storytelling, ako myself together with the other partners, we're fortunate na we've somewhat paved the way for the new wave of basketball.
New wave of basketball management, di ba? Hindi old school pa.
Yes, so I always tell them, diba, the biggest chunk of our business is retail and online. And then the second part is the publications. The one that's up and coming is the management group.
Management company.
So, ako, I'm busy with the management group because I'm the one heading that. There's nobody
Go ahead.
else. Diba? I have a team, but at the same time, I'm hands-on. And hopefully, diba, ako may goal is within the next 3 to 5 years na it becomes, if not the biggest, diba, something
in Manila,
something significant
the world,
relevant to the company. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Galing, pare. Ganda ng
Ako,
stories,
I'm happy.
pare.
Kumbaga, ako, I even tell this to Bogs na parang syempre, still a long way from where we want to be. But at least, diba, we're able to move up. I feel that we're scratching the surface. So we're headed towards the right direction. So, and crucial to kasi you guys are part of the journey. And kaya nga I'm happy that, diba, you made this possible. When Bob messaged me, sabi ko, sige, diba, I'll make time.
Well, thank you for your time. Thank you. Marami kami na yung mga stories mo. Any tips, any struggles na pwede mo i-share for the batch na motivation na dala-dala mo? You can share?
That's very crucial kasi syempre ang laki ng batch natin, diba? That not everyone is in a position where they would want to be. Not everyone is happy where they are right now. But for me, it's really understanding what your why is. There are people who could be financially struggling currently in the situation, but it's understanding that don't do anything that would make you regret in the long run. Make sure that you stick to what you believe in. whatever works for you. From an earning angle, believe in what you're doing right now. If it gets you through through a day-to-day basis, then believe that you will eventually get your break, because there's no such thing as a shortcut. If you get to earn money the easy way, it's gonna become easier. So it's understanding what your why is, because if you get to do something you love and earn from it, and then that's a bonus, because that you wouldn't consider it as work. But more than anything, and I think this group is important. We have batchmates, who are currently struggling. I think this portal has been a way to reach out and help out. So if there's anybody going through something, just reach out. We'll be willing to help in any way, financially or mentally. We'll be there. Yung pautang, ano lang yan. Wag nang pautang, tulong na lang kasi mahirap magsingil. Mahirap maningil. So it's just a matter of being present, being vocal. And if we're able to get you through that struggle, then great. Kasi at the end of it all, we don't want anyone else going through hardships. So stay with it, stay solid, and believe that the following day is something that you could turn things around with. So yeah.
Thank you. Okay. Okay na. Very interesting naman yung nakwento. Marami kami. Thank you for sharing your insight. Ganda ng meron kami nalalaman, meron kaming hindi nalalaman sa'yo, and then you share na nangyayari sa PBA and yung mga pinagdaanan mo to your life. Very interesting, pare. And what you're doing right now is very, wow, making a name for yourself. Very proud of, as a batchmate, they're very proud of you. Vince, anything to say or some message or for a guest today?
PJ, well, si PJ kasi technically parang 4 years pala kami nagsasama niyan eh. We did some businesses, and doon ko nalaman na isa sa pinaka totoong tao at kaibigan na nakilala ko. And very open siya, and marami rin ako sa kanya natutunan. And I'm very happy for him that he accomplished being a sports agent, and I wish him well. I know he'll go places and represent the country in terms of being a sports agent, and good luck.
Bob,
thank you for everything.
Salamat. Before we move on to Bob, sabihin ko lang kay Bobs, tama yung sinabi niya na we've had the connection as solid as how it is now for the last 4 years. Kasi before that naman, we were never classmates. But I think parang it became so natural, became very organic, na parang whenever we're together, it's, everything comes easily. So, appreciate it.
Actually, pare, to add to that, like this, kung anong ginagawa natin now as podcast, like si Bob, hindi ko naman siya talaga kilala closely, and si Papi, nagbabay kami. At least what we're doing right now, we get to know more of each of our batchmates right now. As for me, I'm joining the weekly Zoom. At least nakakapagkwentuhan ako, and I know the current situation of our batchmates. And like yun nga, may mga nahihirapan and some are doing well. At least nakikita natin kung ano yung pwede natin gawin to help each other, which is very helpful for everyone.
Oo, totoo. I agree.
Kasi wala namang gumagawa nito besides sa batch natin.
Wala.
Yeah.
Wala, sa ibang batches, ibang schools. Parang ako lang yata.
Yeah, I mean, we get to connect, and diba, weekly may Zoom tayo, umaabot pa nga ng 3 o'clock in the morning. Puro, minsan may deep conversation, minsan may tayong sa puro lokohan. So at least na entertain din ako like on a Saturday night kung wala kang ginagawa. Yun.
Correct. I agree. Yun.
So, yun nga, maganda yung mga sinabi niyo pero for PJ, ayun nga, si PJ, syempre nung high school, wala, nakakita ko lang yan, dadaanan mo lang yan, nagkakasalubong lang, that's it. Even, yun nga, for the longest time, ano lang, nakita mo lang sa reunion, that's it. Pero,
Acquaintance lang.
mga acquaintance lang. Ang maganda nga is ngayon, though late ako dumating, pero may mga narinig ako ng mga insights mo na syempre ngayon nalalaman natin ano yung mga nangyari sa'yo, ano yung mga naiisip mo about certain topics. At nakakatuwa rin, sabi nga ni Vince, yun nga, itong mga ganito nga, nagiging nagkakakilala tayo. In a sense na hindi tayo nagkakilala lang because of a certain immaturities, di ba? Yung mga kapilyohan. Pero nagkakilala ngayon mas wise tayo lahat, di ba?
Sure na tayo.
So yun yung mahalaga. PJ, you've touched a lot of lives, lalo na sabi mo nga, mga breadwinners, na pamilya, you've given and opened their doors to their future of what they want. And that is a very important part of what you're doing. Continue with what you're doing, sir. God bless. Give more futures a better chance. Yan yung dapat mo ipagpatuloy. More power, sir. Good luck sa lahat ng mga future endeavors mo. Salamat sa oras, sir.
Thank you very much. Salamat. Ako, before Papi says something, I want to take this opportunity then to thank the batch and thank Papi for doing this initiative. I think I mentioned this before nung kaming dalawa pa lang. It's a great way to reach out, not just to our batch, but it will eventually pave the way for us to touch other people's lives, especially during a pandemic. I think this wouldn't happen if during normal times. So I wanna, for me to Vince's point, I wanna be present as much as possible. Para rin ako, parang I only had 3 years in LaSalle, from first, second, and fourth. So there are other people na haven't really, parang to Bob's point, na parang kilala ko, pero wala akong alam about him. So this would be a good avenue for me to know the other batchmates. So salamat.
Okay.
We're very very happy
Thank you,
to have
thank
you.
you.
Our guest. Very thank you.
Salamat.
With 3 years of your LaSalle time, kasi it's the purpose of this podcast naman is to see the person, makilala mabuti, and then share some tips to the batch na, nag-struggle rin ako, pero again laman to that struggle. To stand up, what is yung nangyayari ngayon sa aking buhay. Yun yung pinaportante. And then to see familiar face, familiar voice, very happy to this time of uncertainty. Importante. We're very happy to have you. We're proud as you as a batchmate and yung mga nagagawa mo ngayon. We're so happy. This podcast. Thank you for everything. Anything last words to say? TJ, para we're close na pa.
Baka may ipopromote ka, sir. May mga
Ipopromote ka
website
or
kailangan
something.
malaman. May concert ka. Baka
Shout out.
may di ba?
Yung Amare.
Next time, if you want good pizza, we'll order Amare. It's another business that I do. And paborito rin.
Amare, wow. Amare pala.
Amare. Doon tayo mag-reunion.
Hindi ko mare, pizza.
Hindi ko mare, Amare.
Amare. Hindi ko mare.
Alam ni Bob yan. Thank you to 30, to David, okay, John also, for being present earlier. So, taking bagay.
Okay. With that note, I want to end this podcast and want to say to our co-hosts, Bobby, Vincent, Segura, and PJ Pilares for a wonderful podcast and entertaining podcast with this night. I will say goodbye and end this podcast. Goodbye.
Follow